My name's Kenneth Koseim Ehijene. I'm an entrepreneur here in Southeast Amsterdam, to be specific, and also the author of the book Foregone Conclusion in English and by Forbat Voordeeld in Dutch. And yeah, I'm into telecommunication and financial services. Financial services in terms of money transfer all around the world, and yeah, also into NGO works, helping the needy and those who find themselves in judicial windmill. You know, those who have been discriminated against, or yeah, one thing or the other has happened to them, and that they couldn't find their feet or something, you know, so we try to help them out in such situations.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm Ogo Babuko. I'm editor-in-chief and publisher of Katakata magazine in Amsterdam. I'm also the author of White's Legacy, Things of Patriarchal and Colonialism.
Wow.
Published in January this year.
Okay.
Basically, Katakata magazine is, with Katakata magazine, we try to discuss social issues affecting Africa, and we try to do that in a informative, educative, and yet humorous manner, using cartoon, illustrations, magazine, animations to send the message across. And like I said, our magazine focuses on social challenges, and so we try to sensitize and discuss those challenges.
Awesome. Welcome to Majesty Christian Television Network.
Thank you.
Well, viewers out there, my name is Apostle Helen Dokino, the hostess of this very program. Today we are discussing on the opportunities and challenges for small-scale business operators in the Netherlands. This topic is very important to us because we know as migrant community we've been contributing a lot. Somehow on the line, there are others who also want to come up and join and start their businesses, but they do not know where to start and what to do. So that's why we brought these professionals who have been into business for a long time to at least tell us some of their challenges and also some opportunities that are available there for those who may want to, dive into starting their own businesses. According to the analysis in 2019, area plan for the Bijlmer Centrum, the area service both as a residential and business center. It has the work to resident ratio of 700 to 1,000, the highest in the whole of Amsterdam. Nevertheless, the business environment needs some attention and support. Employment is mainly concentrated in the hedge areas and the Venserpolder neighborhood. So most jobs are in the financial sector. Other sectors are services, retail, and health care. So in this very program today, we are going to examine the opportunities as well as challenges faced by small-scale business operators in this part of the town. That means in Amsterdam as a whole. So our guests today, you've heard them. So we have Mr. Kenneth Ehijene, and then we also have Mr. Ogo Babuko. So we feel free to give us a call in the studio line, which is 020-33 74 160, or follow us live right now on Facebook and ask your questions. Interact with us, and we are going to read out your questions. So, and if you find this broadcast very interesting, please call in and let's interact with you. Thank you for watching. All right, gentlemen. So, are there some certain things you want to let our audience know a little bit more about who you are?
Well, we already introduced ourselves,
Yeah.
but all the same, I will put it this way that I am more into promoting my book now, because what is presently happening in Holland is not really normal, you know, with respect to businesses,
Okay.
you know, small scale businesses, you know.
Okay.
So it gives me an avenue to be able to talk about my book and talk about what it's really all about, you know. In terms of, there are so many opportunities as a businessman, but these opportunities are not being given to us as expected, or, you know, there are so many laws or rules which try to restrict us, you know. So, and we need to come up as a body to be able to address these issues. So that is why I find it very important to be here to discuss about the opportunities of a businessman, and also to be able to connect it to what I eventually wrote in my book, Foregone Conclusion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So there are some certain things that are happening now, playing out in the business sector, which is not favoring the small scale operators.
Yes, that's correct.
Are there some certain things you want us to know more about you or your business?
Well, one of the problems that I encountered when I started the business was the issue of trying to get the right personnel, competent personnel, because of the fact that our business focuses more or less on African issues. So you find out that there were people who were ready to work, but the issue is that how competent, how qualified are they? So that is a big problem we have, and of course we have the issue of linguistic barrier.
All right.
So because we rather prefer, for example, people with African background, because the issue, our business deals with African issues. So you find that some of them don't have the linguistic competence. When I say linguistic competence, even though we deal with African audience, the business is established here in Netherlands. So sometimes you need someone who could, for example, get in touch with Dutch. The language. When I say I mean Dutch now, not English. For example, get in touch with maybe let's say asking for subsidy. You need to contact the organization or maybe the ministry or whatever. And in most cases, based on the maybe maybe stereotype, if for example you start speaking English, automatically
close their door.
Yes, they think you're not competent. But that is not always the case.
All right, hold on there, gentlemen. Before we dive into that, is becoming interesting. Before we dive into that, I would want us to explore the area. I mean, you'll be an entrepreneur. Are there some opportunities you've seen in Amsterdam Southeast that can drive your passion as an entrepreneur? Are there some look into the city where you are in? Are there some good opportunities there?
Well, I think there are a lot of opportunities. In the first place, you're living in the Southeast, and the Southeast is populated by foreigners.
Exactly.
You know, the kind of business you will do here is not the kind of business you will go to the Centrum or to West or a village like Dronten, or just name it to do it. Because you have a lot of foreigners here, there are certain things that you would do in Southeast that would prosper. You know. I give an example now. There was a time when, for example, they call it bell house or call shops. Used to be the in thing. That was when before there were mobile phones. You see people queuing to make calls back to their loved ones back home. you know,
It's true.
then that was a thriving business here in Southeast.
Yes.
You don't go to Amsterdam North and you find a call shop there. No.
Why?
Because there are mostly white people there or so on, you know. You wouldn't see so much foreigners who want to make call.
Yeah.
So such a business has to be located in Southeast to be able to attract the people,
Customers.
the customers.
Yeah, okay.
Now, this has gradually developed into such a venture whereby everybody has mobile phones now. So that aspect of calling has been reduced because there's now mobile phones, prepaid calling, you know.
Yeah.
And in most cases, in a white neighborhood, it's not like these phones are not there, but they would rather go to the shops and have subscription. But with the prepaid, our people are always fond of calling their people home. So
Yeah.
the prepaid calling market, for example, sells a lot in Southeast because these people, they don't have the opportunity to go for subscription or one thing or the other, because to go for a subscription, you must be registered or documented in the system.
Yes.
You must have a bank account where they can take the
Take
revenue.
yes.
A lot of things have to be put in place.
Yes.
But there are a lot of people who are not documented, a lot of people who don't have this know-how on how to go about this. So it is easy for them to just buy a mobile phone, buy prepaid, and make their calls. So those kind of business would definitely thrive in Southeast. And secondly, another aspect of business opportunity that would thrive in Southeast is the issue of money transfer.
Oh,
We have loved ones back home, you know, financial services. We have loved ones back home who are constantly like a pain in the ass asking for money. Of course, it's not a good sign that they always keep asking for money, you know. They have to learn to utilize this money and build something for themselves.
Exactly.
But we have been caught in a situation whereby
They only
we
ask-
can't ignore our families
Yeah,
back
it's
home,
true.
so we have to keep sending money to them. And
Yes.
Southeast is a hub
Yeah.
of foreigners where people want to remit money back home to their loved ones and so
Yes.
on and so forth.
Yes.
So such a business too is also something that would thrive here, you know. But then there are certain issues, maybe we'll come to that later. When you start something like this, the government comes in with one law or the
Or the
other,
other,
you know,
yes.
to try to restrict you.
Yeah.
But
I got about
it's-
wondering why they are doing this.
yeah, but the truth of the matter is, you should be given the free hand to, of course, everybody is subject to the law, subject to rules and regulations, you know, but we should also be given the free hand to be able to practice what would come out fruitful for us
Yeah.
in the system
Yeah.
and where we live in.
Yeah.
But because of the different rules and regulations, we are being tied or clamped down. And
that
this is not supposed to be the case.
Yeah, and that is
You know?
breeding crime, you know, because so you see some men or some people who would have liked to do something very useful, but because of all of these laws coming
Laws,
up and holding them
precisely.
here and there, they have no outlets. You know, they have no other means of making money, so
Yeah.
they move into crime.
The truth of the matter is, some who intended to do something legal, because when they see we who are in business, what we are going through, they say, no,
Yeah.
I don't want to go into it.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah.
High taxes,
The taxes are-
personnel, you know,
Jesus.
control.
I have the same
You have
problem.
what they have, they call them hand having, the other one, abaisi, spexy, all coming in just a small little business.
Little business.
So how are you going to encourage others
Yes.
to go into business with this kind of controls?
Yes.
You
It's
know,
too much.
it's too much.
But-
And
but-
you need to have a big heart
Yeah.
to be able to do business, not only in the Southeast, but in Holland as a
Yeah.
whole, as a foreigner.
Yeah.
You know, because when the restriction becomes too much, you know, the people don't feel safe, for example, to come into your shops to do business. Because before you know it, they say, oh, that place, police was there yesterday. Oh, there was control there yesterday, you know. So the controls
It's true.
or the rules, they are driving away the customers.
It's true.
They should be restricted. And secondly,
That's a very
you know what happens is, when they do these things, you know, they don't go to established businesses like Albert Heijn or Jumbo to do this.
No.
You know, so
Those ones are already established, so they don't expect anything irregular to be happening there.
but that is not true. What is good for the goose is also good for the gander.
So
We should all be treated equally,
Why is
you know?
that their eyes are too much in among the migrants? Is it that they are thinking that we are suspects or what?
Yeah. Now the truth of the matter is this.
You
Now
come up, okay?
that is, yeah, I'm sorry. Just the truth of the matter is this. Now that is what I mentioned by like what you said, too much eyes on us. There's what we call racial profiling.
Okay.
And it is playing a big effect in Holland or Amsterdam as at now. I'll give you an example. Now, the banks are not willing.
Say it the way it is.
They are not willing to help us.
Jesus.
You know, you go and ask for loan, they set such high standards that you can't even meet it. You know, they tell you to produce a business plan, do this, do that. You know, even when you do it, it's not good enough.
Not good enough.
And then you struggle from the scratch.
You drag your tail.
Precisely.
Tired.
You struggle from the scratch to find some money to build your business. The moment you are thriving and you become a success, now they come. You are into something illegal. You know,
not even before even you will get to that level, they will look for a way to
even cripple.
They will look to cripple you until you go back to zero.
Precisely.
That happened to our consultancy.
Precisely.
That happened to our consultancy. That was how we, we had to close.
You know, and then even now, after you've been able to establish yourself in business for so many years. The same banks who are not willing to help you. Now, maybe if you are involved in a cash flow kind of business, because in Southeast, like I said, there are a lot of undocumented people who do not have bank accounts to pay, so they are always used to cash payment. You know, people want to send money used to cash payment because it is allowed for you, whether documented or not, you can send money in as much as you have an ID, which is a passport.
Okay.
Good. You come to send your money.
Yeah.
You know, and then you go to the bank to deposit it. Now, when they see the cash flow, they are wondering, what are you into? Oh, Russia,
Really?
yes, they start asking questions. I've seen a couple of businessmen, African businessmen. One that I know personally is a travel agent.
Yeah.
Another one into import and export. The banks, I myself to have the banks wrote them. Can you know? They call it know your client. Can you explain to us what your business is all about, what you're doing? At the end of the day, they send you a form with so many things to explain. You explain it. Now, the core of it all is they want to know about the cash flow. How come you are paying so much cash into your account daily? You've been doing, like the travel agent I know, he's been in business for well over 30 years.
Yes.
He's been doing this regularly.
Yes.
And at a certain point in time, his account, they threatened to block it, and of course, which they blocked, you know, all because he said, listen, this cash I'm paying, it's for example, it's for KLM or it's for Air France or it's for this.
Yes.
People come to buy tickets from me. I pay it into the account and I transfer it to this company. Just like me now, people come to send money. I'm just an agent.
Yeah.
And I transfer it to whatever company.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
But they don't see it that way. They see it like money laundering, you know? Before you know, they just want to close you down or close your account. They're asking funny questions and say, come on, produce this or produce that or produce that. How can that enable you grow as a businessman?
No.
I must say, sorry to cut you short, I had the same problem when I wanted to start my business. I was told to write a lot of business plan.
Yes.
And I think I wrote a fantastic business plan, which was read by someone who is into business, an expert, and he was, praising the business plan. I went to all the banks. Each time, each bank I went to, without even going through,
the business plan.
they just told me, it's not possible. No, really. I had problems.
Foregone conclusion.
Exactly.
They looked at him.
Yeah.
They looked at him. Looked at his color, his background.
They made a decision.
Yeah. Especially when they see face that we are from Africa. Of course, they have this stereotypical idea about you that, first of all, you are not intelligent. So I'm not saying everybody does it, but I mean, it says it.
Yeah, it's true.
But I'm talking out of experience.
Yes.
So the only thing that made me to get a loan was the fact there was one program by IBM Amsterdam. They said that program was if you had university degree, you could get 20,000. That was only condition because I went to school here. I went to school in Nigeria. That was what saved me.
Yeah.
But I went to many banks.
Yes.
I was not given any loan. The issue, what you said about the bank, about money laundering or whatever.
Yeah.
Right now that I'm talking to you, we have an NGO, part of Katakata, because, like I told you, we work with a lot of NGOs.
Yeah.
So they told us, instead of working directly with a company, we prefer an NGO to work together with an. So we opened an NGO here. We did everything. The manager, who is supposed to manage the NGO in Malawi, is there today. I went to the banks. I don't want to call the names, and they told me, well, let's see. We are not sure if the money coming in will be honest money. I said, what do you mean by that? Honestly speaking, so they took they took everything, all the details and everything, the registration from Chamber of Commerce. They took everything. After almost 6 weeks, or even 8 weeks, they came back to me. Sorry, we can't open an account for you.
Really?
I've been living here in Holland for almost 30 years. I went to school here.
Yes.
So they told me they can't open an account. I said, why? Because we are not sure about them. I said, but I told you, I gave you the names of the NGOs. These are international NGOs.
Yes.
Don't you know Care International?
Yes.
Don't you know Plan International?
Yeah.
We work with. No, sorry, but we are not sure. We are not sure about the money coming in.
It's unbelievable.
So now, how do you encourage people?
So naive to come and be talking to us.
How can you encourage people to go into business, for example, in this kind of mindset?
Yes.
So it's really difficult, and of course, on the one hand, when you talk about people, the kind of controls you have, of course, they will quickly tell you, well, the idea is that we want to make sure this applies to all entrepreneurs. But I don't think so, because I mean, on the one hand, the government is saying, for example, the government wants to encourage migrants to be productive.
Yeah.
But how can you encourage, and also to come out of, maybe because they say, well, and I don't mind it's a devil's workshop. Now, when someone is not working, and I am not encouraging the person to be productive, what do you think could be the next could be the result? The person could go into illegal things or whatever. So that is a big problem.
Yeah, let me read this comment. This one from those watching us live here. It says from Silver Silo, keep it up, Mr. Ken Higeme. You are breaking it down for everyone to understand, and it is very interesting discussion. Thank you, folks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, so let me add to what he was saying. The truth of the matter is, with this bank issue, the most important thing for a businessman is cash. You must have cash to be able to do your business. Even when you talked about employment, you must have cash to be able to pay whoever you are employing, But when we don't have this initial cash, when we don't have support from the banks, no institution or whatever is willing to help us. And then at the end of the day, we struggle to build whatever we have today. And now we have the banks coming in, trying to sabotage our effort. What is presently happening with the banks or in the society now is they look at your name, and based on your name, we should go after this man. We want to know what he's doing. I don't think what is happening to us, because I've never seen a Jan Peter or Mark Verhoeven or whatever having this kind of problems that we're having. No. When they see it's a Dutch name, it's proper. No, listen, let me give you another example. You see the African products.
Yes.
At a certain point in time, some time ago, when Africans were busy importing things into here and selling them, they had a lot of controls. They were not up to standard. Hygiene standards and whatever. They did it so much that a lot of people were crippled and they went out of business. A few still stayed. But today you have Dutch companies now bringing these goods from Africa. Now they don't have any problem. They are not going there to control and say you didn't do this or you didn't do that. So in a way they are trying to frustrate us or to kill or to
bring us down.
Bring us down or bring us out of business.
Okay, are they trying to say that there's nothing we can really do good or what? Because, for instance, you can speak the language very well.
Of course.
Okay, so your case may be a bit different from those who cannot even speak at all.
In a way, maybe, but then what they look at is your name.
Because when they
If they've not met you, if they've not met you, your name tells them you are a foreigner. And the moment they meet you, the first thing they ask you is, "Waar kom jij vandaan?" And you say, even when you're Dutch, you say, "Ik ben Nederlands." Nee, "Waar kom jij oorspronkelijk vandaan?"
Yeah.
They want to know where you're coming from.
Yes, exactly.
You know, all
That
is
means
a basis to form.
never integrated.
No.
We don't become like American wife will never be asking American black which land come you from.
Precisely.
Even though they know your phonology may be totally different from the American phonology, you know? Hello? They don't ask you those sort of questions.
Yeah.
Do you understand me? But here, that's the first thing they ask.
Precisely.
They ask
You know,
you that because they just want to undermine
to form
you.
a basis to jump to their conclusion.
Yeah.
And in most cases, their conclusions are baseless. You know, their conclusions are not based on reasonable argument or understanding. You know, because whatever you as a black man can do in Southeast, you know, or whatever you've been doing, it takes you a lot of effort, time. There's one thing you were talking about. We work so hard to the detriment of our families.
Yes.
You know, just to be in business in Holland. The taxes are high. A lot of things. You have to pay a lot of bills. You know, you see yourself working 12, 14 hours a day just to survive.
Yes.
Somebody who has a regular job works only for 8 hours. You know, but we are working our butt out to pay our taxes and be able to meet up our bills, and the government is not even helping us in any way, and they are trying to subject us. You know, it takes a man with the heart of a lion to be able to live in Amsterdam or the Netherlands.
Thank you, Mr. Nnamdi Ogini Nwamba. That's the chair of Netherlands Middle Diasporas. It's a good topic and very important for immigrant businesses in the Netherlands. We thought you would have joined us. I think, oh God, I see you.
Thank you.
Thank you and join us. And those of you who are watching this program, remember you can always join us, or you can call the studio line on 020 203374 and share your opinion regarding this topic. Thank you. Our topic today, is very interesting, opportunities and challenges. So you can see that the two gentlemen I have here are really doing justice to this topic. So please join us and tell us your own experience. Now, I really think, how do you think we can make our voices known to these people? Because if it is that this is the way, because I can feel the frustration as we are speaking. Okay, so how can we outgrow this level now? What can be done to help the migrant business entrepreneur to outgrow the situation? Because the frustrations are very obvious, very, very, very obvious. I wrote a business plan after our consultancy closed down, and then I wrote a business plan, and this business plan was very, very good. So I began to go for help from one office to another office, from one bank to another bank. The only thing they were pinning me down was the other business was closed down, and it was my husband's name, not my name. So now they began to connect me. They said, as long as they even told me that the only way I can survive is to go and file for a divorce, so that I separate from my husband, and then I don't have his name attached to me, and then I can come to take loan. So how can I do such a thing? So when they put you in such a very tight situation, you see, some people will really look for a way to survive. So they will go and file for divorce when it is not supposed to be that way.
But what I don't understand is...
So I don't know why we have to be going through this level before we can be helped, even when we have also the nationality of...
What I don't understand here is it's not fair, because many multinationals, they go into bankruptcy, yet the government, gives them money, saves them up,
subsidy everything.
So my question is, why for example, and if you look deep, you see that most of what made those multinationals or big companies to collapse is because of mismanagement. And you see,
because they had all the opportunities.
They had all the opportunity
compared
to
to
subsidy that
as a foreigner.
exactly. Many companies now they don't pay dividend tax here.
Yes.
So they have those kind of incentives which we don't have.
No.
And some people even invest their own capital.
Yes.
And at the same time, instead of the government to encourage them, they are putting a lot of impediments, and it's so frustrating. It is so frustrating.
No. The truth of the matter is, the government is a big part of the problem itself.
Okay.
They are helping or supporting certain bodies too, who are also trying to bring down entrepreneurs. Now, in the first place, take Amsterdam Sport, for example. Wait a minute. Take Amsterdam Sport, for example. The shops there, they are owned by certain bodies. Corporations like Rochdale or Imera, most of these shops or beauties, they're owned by them. But the rent there is so expensive, exorbitant.
Yes.
You come in as a businessman and you are faced with so much thousands as rent. How much are you going to generate?
Thousands.
We
were coughing out almost 4,000 every month for 8 years.
Can you imagine?
And in most cases, you are forced to sign contract maybe for 3 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
No subsidy, no rent, nothing. And now, apart from paying the rent, the taxes are there, like I said. And then, when you are not able to pay these bills, they don't even come to sit with you and say, how can we help? The next thing is they send you to incasso.
Yes.
A bill you've not been able to pay. A bill of, for example, 1,000 euros. Now they increase it. Is that not strangulation?
It is, and that's why people are collapsing, and that's why there's a lot of stress in the system.
Precisely.
There's a lot of stress. Oh, I saw my husband carrying this burden all every day. We are struggling to make ends meet, only to pay the rent. No gain, only to pay the rent.
It is frustrating.
Just 1 month we could not pay the rent. The landlord already came and served us a quick notice.
Can you imagine?
After 8 years, and then he dragged us to court and won the case. And then they put a bill of, if I mention it, you will be shocked, on us.
It is very frustrating.
They really don't care about how we survive or whatever. So that is why sometimes when you see people, you have a choice anyway. When you see people going into illegality, there must have been a reason for it. But it's a choice, know. That is why you just have to hang in there and keep hoping and pushing towards the mark. And with the special grace of God, you'll be able to beat them to their tricks.
And when you see a Dutch person of the same age and you maybe somebody from the same profession in another city in Amsterdam, in Netherlands, they are making it. So I go about wondering, is that they are being supported? Is there any special thing they are giving to them? Because in terms of devotedness, we are devoted to
very.
So why can't we excel like them?
Yeah, because they have so many opportunities. What the bank, for example, they look at is the omset, the turnover. They see the money rolling into the account and coming. Before you know it, they've written me a letter. Somebody even personally gives him a call, makes an appointment. Can you come to us? Can we come to you to see how we can work together or help you? That is the way
that's what
it happens.
Yeah, it
happens. But with us, it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
They don't call us up. They don't. Even when we are generating more turnover than them, I can tell you, for example, in my bank account, I know what I turn over on a yearly basis.
Yes.
If it's a Dutch person who is that, he would have gotten a lot of opportunities or help from sources to help his business grow. But in our cases, it's not like that. The little we have that we are trying to reinvest or do whatever, they are taking it from us by the huge cost, the bills, the incasso, this, that,
rent
so
is increasing every month.
It's
still try and be as objective as possible in the light of all the things that are contrary.
Right.
Let's be optimistic and objective as much as possible. Let's not get too sentimental.
Right. Okay. But how do we become very optimistic when we are just speaking about the realities, the way they are playing out? The way they are playing out, and then is it just to encourage? Is it just to encourage another entrepreneur to come in and then close?
But if we don't talk about our problems,
yeah,
how can we get result? You know, so we need to bring it out so that they would know, that this is what we feel or what is happening,
Yeah.
and then they could call us to a roundtable conference
Exactly.
and see what how they can help us. You know, my own, like you asked the question for what are the solutions or what can we do. Of course, we could come up with an association of foreign businesses and
Present our
yes our findings, what we are experiencing, how we would like the issue to be dealt with, how it could be tackled, you know, and we can't do it on our own. They have to help us do this.
Yeah.
You know, that is, for example, one way in which the issue could be tackled.
But have we been able to have a front? Like you made mention of these foreign businesses now. Have we been able to have a front, you know, a front, so that if we have these foreign businesses database, you know, foreign businesses database, then we can now know how many are in that foreign businesses, and then we can know what next to do. But do we already have something like that?
Well,
To the best of my knowledge, we don't. I
no,
guess.
no.
I
This
think
is
we
Vivo
don't.
Viv. Viv says, good point, gentlemen. The policies might not be favorable to the migrant communities, especially those from Africa. Maybe that might be the beginning of the small-scale business challenges. Well done. Thank you, Ms. Viv. Feel free to make more comments. Also, give us a call on the studio line if you can. Thank you.
I think the government has to come out with a remedy.
Okay.
Otherwise, I can't see people going into private business, into entrepreneurship, because for example, I know how many hours I spend.
Okay.
In fact, you can say that I work 7 days a week. Even when I'm on holiday, I don't stay in a hotel because I'm lucky that my business is in such a way that I can work wherever I am. I just only need my laptop and an internet connection. But at the same time, again, to be honest, sometimes my wife will tell me, "This is you have to make a choice.
Yeah.
You have a family.
Yeah, it's true.
So how much comes in?
Yes.
So it's like when we're on holiday, I'm with my laptop, I'm working because I want to get things done.
Yeah.
But at the same time, again, on the other hand, the government, say, for example, is complaining that maybe migrants are not working, migrants are into social. But when you make the condition favorable for them to work,
They work.
they work.
It's true.
Yeah.
But when you are frustrated, when you are, putting all kind of obstacles for them, then
Yes,
why
let
would
them
you,
to go, yes.
encourage them to go?
What must we
So
do?
that's a
We
big
have to
problem.
survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to survive. Okay, so but having all that said, do you think there are some areas we can explore really in this area in Southeast?
Well, there are still a lot to be done in Southeast, and with respect to businesses here, and to really make that happen. Like I said, the restrictions has to be reduced or lifted in a way. Now, let's take a place like London or Spain, for example. These shops are open there if they want 24/7.
24/7, yes. Yes.
They don't have this kind of controls or whatever happening there, So if we were to follow that model or fashion of, lesser restrictions, of course, within the framework, within the law. It's not about being carrying out something illegal, but within the framework, it will not only be beneficial to us, but also to the community. Because when you have this open kind of market system, you can, if, for example, you are allowed to be open for as long as possible, that would not only be more revenue or turnover, you can be able to employ more people, you can also be able to create, bring about more ideas, And another aspect I forgot to mention is we don't have to be. There's this law that in Holland here that says branch sharing. You have to be in a particular branch. Fine, you can be in a particular branch, but they should also give us the freedom to be able to try things around. You know, for example, you could be into business A, and then at the same time, you start business B and business C, multi-tasking or whatever.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you are running all this business. You know, maybe one of them or two of them can become outstanding.
Okay.
People who become successful today never started with one business.
No.
They started with several businesses. And from it, they chose the one that was more profitable or
Yes.
rendable, and that's what has made them to grow.
Yeah.
But with that law of keeping or being static to a certain branch or whatever, it wouldn't make us grow like that, you know. If you want us to grow like Albert Heijn, like Jumbo, the big businesses, give us the freedom to be able to expand and do things the way it's supposed to be. After all, they were once like us.
Yeah.
They were given the opportunities to be what they are today. So they should also at least have that mindset that foreigners are not just good for nothing people, that we can also be able to bring out the best, not just for our society, but for the society in general, and contribute our own quota to the empowerment and building of the Dutch society. We shouldn't only be looked upon from the negative aspect.
Exactly.
You know?
I think you're making a very good point.
In addition,
Even when I look at Amsterdam Southeast and see how multicultural we are, I think they should also make allowance for those other ethnic groups who may want to eat their own food, you know, have their own kitchen without so many standards, you know, make it a little bit easier for them, because for us to make our food, we don't need to have all of those diplomas. But they have put all of those diplomas even in our own food that we don't know. We don't have much people doing it. If you try to just go into that area, because you don't have the certificate, you cannot practice it.
Yes.
of course, the government will tell you their reason for asking you to have a certificate before you start is just to make sure that you are qualified to do that, which in a way is fine. But at the same time, again, the government needs to encourage people, or even maybe offer opportunity for people to do things other than what they are doing.
Yes.
So, because if you just focus on one thing, okay, you are into maybe internet or media, you are not allowed to do something else.
Yeah.
But if you want me to, to be an expert in that field, you need to encourage me.
Yeah. You need to
Because
lower
they are all interrelated.
Yes, you need
you
to
know?
lower the standards a bit, because if I want to do my own cooking for my own ethnic group, I don't need to know the Dutch language 100%.
No.
Because that's not what I'm gonna use to make the food. Already I know where to buy these things and how to make the food and the people I want to reach.
And there's also what we call talent. Some
Yeah.
people are talented in cooking or doing one thing or another. They don't need to go to school to be able to do whatever you ask them to do.
I do agree to know the hygiene standards and all of that. They are very,
social
very
hygiene.
important. Okay, equip them with those minor ones. Okay, and let them practice what they can do and do it very good. But to put the restriction, you have to have the Dutch descent, you have to do this, you have to do that. It's limiting a lot of women. It's limiting a lot of women who would have liked to do something, you know, but now they are all sitting.
On the other hand, they complain about many foreigners are taking social. So isn't it an irony?
Yeah, but
People want to work, and at the same time again, we are making it impossible for them to work.
Yeah,
but
So the only option they have is to steal and take social.
But yeah, it still boils down to part of what I said at the initial stage, that it's a part of economic bondage. You know, now they're accusing you that you don't want to work, you don't want to look for a job or whatever,
Yeah.
but there are so many restrictions.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
and now,
You
of course,
depend
to
on them.
survive, you have to
depend on
you have to depend on them.
Yes.
You know,
They dictate the pace.
precisely. So in a way, it's like to keep you under check, and our people don't see it that way. Especially, for example, the South Americans, you know, they don't see it that way. That this outcaring or welfare or whatever is just to keep you in check.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
You have to you need to give them the freedom to be able to exploit themselves, bring out what they can do best. You know, but the moment you try to restrict them, don't do this, don't do that, then they are frustrated, and then it's okay. We go into doing what we know best.
Yes.
And that's why there's a lot of crime
Yeah.
and illegality.
It's
You know, it's not like at the initial stage,
That's
these people
it.
wanted to work.
Yeah, that's
They
it.
wanted to set up their own business. They
Yes.
wanted to do something.
Yeah.
But with so many rules and regulations, you know, if you are not, in Dutch they call it doorzettingsvermogen. If you don't have that reach, that capability to move ahead and get what
Yes.
you want.
Yeah.
If you're that type who, after the first trial, you just give up.
Give up,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
KFC,
Yeah.
he had well over 1,000 failures before he became,
Before he became,
what he is
yeah.
today.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, and a lot of people don't have that kind of resilience, you know, to be able to take whatever comes to them.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
they
true.
give up easily. You know, and the truth of the matter is the Dutch society is one where if you have a goal, never give up easily. You know,
Okay.
because they will push you to the wall.
Yeah.
But no, you fight back. No matter what, fight back. If you fight back, if you don't fight back, you are giving up your freedom. Not only your freedom, even that of your generation to come. You know, because if you make a better bed for yourself today, your generation will have a better bed to lie upon when it is their turn.
It's true. It's true.
What I think also is that you see in a society like we have here,
Yeah.
where you have maybe migrants who are not working, and of course, logically, when you work, you contribute for your pension,
Yes.
and that's what people don't understand. So when you sit down, you know, at home doing
Without
nothing,
working. Yeah.
when you are 67, how much do you get for your pension?
The pension will be disastrous.
So in a way, some people could say that it's another way, another system the government uses to maybe to,
Oppress.
yeah, well, some people think so. People, well, because if you don't work, how much do you get, for your pension?
Yeah, exactly. You get
Because
nothing.
when you work, you build your pension.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, that's correct.
So,
It can be
about what
frustrating.
yes, it will be very frustrating. So if we look at it from that perspective, then it means most people will be very frustrated in their old age,
Yes.
and they are going to lose some of their houses. They will lose because when you're not able to pay the rent of your house because you're not earning a lot, then you will lose the house.
It is. It's so.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so having looked at the society itself, are there some constraints from our family, family backgrounds? Do we have some challenges from family?
Well, as I said before, I work almost 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So even when I'm on holidays, I work. So it's not the nicest thing when you're with your family on holidays and
You're still
you're
working.
24 hours behind the computer.
Yeah.
And some well, if you don't have maybe an understanding partner, you could have problems.
Yeah, it's true.
Secondly, also your kids, they need you. It's not just enough to maybe to bring money.
Yes.
You need to be there physically for the kids.
It's true.
So most of the time when you are busy with your business, trying to grow your business, and you don't see the kids. Maybe you come back when the kids are already sleeping,
Yeah.
and then you go out, and then so it is really
Frustrating.
really frustrating, and it breaks some families.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
that's right. That's
It's
right.
true.
You know, so that is why our efforts need to be appreciated.
I to appreciate
Because
it.
we put
Yes.
in so much time, so much energy, into our businesses to the detriment of our families, and at the end of the day, after, maybe if you're not lucky enough, you lose your family because of business
Yeah.
and they end up closing your business, then who's the loser? You end up losing on both sides.
And the worst part of it
You know?
is that if you don't work,
Yeah.
you don't earn anything.
Yeah.
If you say, okay, well, I want to go on holiday,
Yeah.
you don't get any income
No.
Yeah.
on that.
So cannot-
you really have to work and work and work. So the government has to do something.
Yeah. Like what? Because we got saying they have to do something. Can we not point something very concrete?
Lesser
we want them to
restrictions.
do?
Lesser
That's
restrictions.
number one.
Giving
That's
us
number
more opportunities, at least so that we can be able to exploit, do a lot of things. Look at the supermarket Albert Heijn today. They started as a retail joint, But you also have Abertine to go, Abertine, they even sell lingeries. And I saw lingeries there. A lot of things are being sold now, you know.
Yeah.
So they are giving them the opportunity to expand, to grow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so also you have to learn to give us the opportunity to expand and to
Yeah,
grow.
yeah.
Look at the banking industry.
Yes.
First, we had 3 major banks controlling Holland. The ABN, the ING, and the Rabo.
Yeah.
But now the government has opened up ways for other banks to come up.
Yeah.
So we see them coming. So that monopoly is going to be removed,
Yes,
you know, with
exactly.
these other banks coming
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Because these 3 major banks, they've grown so big that they don't
cannot serve.
not safe. They don't look at we small companies or undernemers as anything. They prefer to
Because
channel their money only on
big-
those big companies, established companies.
Yes.
You know, so if we are not getting this support from them, now, despite everything we are doing, we are paying commission, everything to them for their services. Then let's take it to these new generation online banks who will be in a better position, I think, to help us grow with them.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So in that same vein too, the government has created laws to let new banks come up. So also they should be able to reduce the restrictions, reduce the laws, and create opportunities for us to be able to grow in whatever field we intend to.
I think the government should also encourage immigrants who are not working, not just to go into well, because most of them want to maybe start their own business, but the government should also encourage them by maybe by allowing them, for example, when they want to start a business, maybe to design the courses they are going to do to be in line with what they want to do. Because now you have a kind of specific kind of courses you have to follow if you want to start business, and sometimes those courses have little or nothing to do with the kind of business you want to do.
Yeah.
Now, take for example someone who wants to start maybe cooking, for example, the typical African food or whatever.
They don't have courses for that.
So that kind of thing. So the government has to be flexible
Yeah.
in order to encourage, migrants, to come into this.
The system, yes.
And they should learn, they should have the patience to want to learn what these people have in their societies.
Exactly.
Because, for example now, like what he said now, they don't know how the African cuisine is like or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
don't. When
So,
they-
but the next thing is, when somebody tries it, they try to knock you out.
Yeah.
You know? They
Yeah.
try to close you out. But the moment you take the patience to learn about it, study it, and you let it, give it some
Grow,
opportunities, you
yes.
let it grow,
Yeah.
you find out that these things can also thrive. You know, that is what we call it, they call it, multicultural family.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yes,
And
yes,
that
yes.
creates
You know,
job opportunities.
Yeah.
For
Besides job
yeah.
opportunities, and it makes the society rich.
It's true.
You know?
But then it start competing with their own system.
Oh well.
It
You take
doesn't
that
matter,
also.
but
that is what they are
there's
trying to
no-
avoid here.
Yeah, but there's no way we can ever compete with them, you know. But we just want opportunities to be able to grow. We can never, yeah, of course. The truth of the matter is, when you have a child, you always pray for that child to be better than you. So if we grow and become better, well, to God be the glory, you know.
Okay, let's touch the social challenges. Can we look into that aspect?
Well, I think so. The social challenges also they have also something to do with also even the family challenges we just mentioned now, and also, for example, like me, for example,
Yeah.
I hardly have contact with maybe with my social nucleus. It's not that I don't want to,
Yeah.
but because of the limitations I have, because of lack of time and all those things.
Yes.
So you find that at the end of the day, when you come back here,
All alone.
nothing to do socially. You're just so happy to just sit down and eat and wait for the next day.
Because you're completely exhausted
Yes.
after having spent 7
Those
days.
people are not that well because
No,
you see them.
no, they are
you
more
see them-
relaxed.
You see them busy with their dancing clubs and
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
most of the
chorus
time.
and all of
Yeah,
those
but
things.
that's
A
the
couple
boss
of
that
times when I came to Amsterdam South Coast, just I think a couple of times, people they were like, huh? Are you from Nigeria? Are you from Africa?
Yeah.
Because Not because I hardly go there.
Yeah.
Simply because I don't have time. Not that I don't want to.
Yeah.
Each time I go there, I'm so happy because I feel at home.
Yeah.
But I hardly go there because I don't have time.
Yeah.
And it's not the best. It's not the best.
But how come that the Dutch people can still create something out of? I mean, their busy schedule. They still you go to some of these recreational grounds. You see them. You see
That's
them
true.
either learning to dance or learning to do one thing or the other. They
But
are all over.
it is their society, so they built it. They know how it works. We are only foreigners who came in, and we are trying to learn how the system works and be able to emulate them. But in doing that, if we are not given the opportunities to be able to do that, then we can't live the kind of lifestyle they are living. You know, so I believe that question begs the answer based on what we have already discussed or talked about. We don't get enough or equal opportunities. So how do you expect us to be able, when we are in the shop or in our businesses 24/7, how do you want us to have the time to be able
For
to
social-
do this? Of course, it's important to do it. We still struggle to do that, you know, in our
Also,
own way.
I think one of the constraints is that we do not have a solid social network.
That's
So
true.
these people, they are, you know, tapping from the social networks of their parents.
Yeah.
Okay, so from that distance, before even they come out from school, they already have that social network of their own fathers, you know, trying to help them do some certain things. But we don't have social network. We don't have it. We don't have a very solid one,
No.
you know. So that's a very big problem, and I don't know how we can build that so that, because if things are not going well the way they're supposed to, you are in a very healthy network. That network must be able to take you to the next level.
Yeah, but we need to start building it up from somewhere. Like what we talked about, having a platform. That platform could be, for example, even among Africans, we have our disagreements or whatever. But we could say, okay, for example, Nigerian businesses, Ghanaian businesses, Ugandan
Yes.
businesses, they start like that.
Yeah.
And from the different entities, they bring representatives at another level or the African level. And then with that, we can start dialoguing with.
Even that reminds me, like the Nigerians in the Diaspora Organization, now we are calling all the Nigerian businesses to, you know, to come and register with our organization. You know, we want to put the Nigerian businesses in a sort of, you know, we want to bring them to focus so that people, when they come to the website of NIDO, they can also click and see Nigerian businesses.
That's a good. That's
So
a very good.
we are calling on all the
initiative.
all the Nigerian businesses to come in and begin to register, and it's free. We are doing those adverts for them free.
It's a very
So
good initiative.
I expect you to register with us as soon as possible. Katakata, register with us as soon as possible.
For sure,
Go and put your business there. Myself, I'm gonna put my business, and if you are also a Nigerian business, please remember to go to the NIDO website and then call our chair or call this line, and then I'll give you further details on how to register your business with us so that you can, you know, become very, very visible. Visible, yes, that's the right word. All right, we have 5 more minutes to go. So are there some constraints, some challenges in the area of technology?
Yes, because but I think that has to do more with us, you know, because in the present day, a lot of things are being done online.
Digital, yes.
Digital, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so and our people, they, would I say, because of laziness, or they are not willing to learn things about the computer so that they can be able to take advantage of this. You know, because in the present day world, anything that is not online or digital, it doesn't really work the way it's supposed to work.
Yes.
And the truth of the matter is, even back home in Africa, we find out that a lot of people are taking advantages of this online thing.
Yeah.
You find people having blogs, you know, they tell you subscribe.
Yeah.
This way,
Yeah.
they are making their money.
Exactly. They're
In
making
businesses.
a lot of money in Africa, what I hear.
Yeah. You know, so we should also be able to take advantage of the present, because we are in a society whereby we have the opportunities to be able to learn these things easily, acquire the knowledge, you know. So start up things, a lot of things online, do your things online, and then, just, and you'll see that the business, your turnover is going to grow, you know. And just let me also mention here that with respect to my book, it took me quite some time, you know, but now I've just been able to launch the ebook on Amazon now. So
awesome.
Foregone Conclusion, just a few days ago, is on Amazon, and it's available worldwide. And for now, we just started with an axis of like €2, you know, before eventually, for the ebook version, before eventually the price is changed, you know. So take advantage of it and go on Amazon and also try to get a copy of your book, and you see everything we are talking about. You'll see it there, and you learn from it, and you see how you can also apply what is there to your own situation and try to see how you can make a better you from what is from the present situation.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Okay, what are you saying regarding to the technological challenges?
We have the same challenge. Of course, we started with a printed version of our magazine, and of course, with the technological development, we had to shift to digital. And it's up to now. It's difficult for some people to accept that challenge. Some people are used to, you know, they're used to maybe hard print. And for us, it's very, very expensive.
Yes, and they're not supporting.
Very, very expensive. And when you don't have financial support, and it's very, very expensive. So most media houses, most of them don't survive now. They only survive on maybe they go digital, and they'll survive on advert. So this is one of the challenges we have. So that's, well, I think maybe with time, it's going to change.
Yes, I think it will change. It will change. Just continue to press on, because Katakata magazine is very, very educative. Very impactful. So
thank you.
Just continue to bring it to focus, and I mean, also other Nigerian businesses that have websites, you also talk with them and see whether you can put part of that your book, and also Katakata, you know, give it to them. They may have a slot where they can put it.
Right now what we do now is like we market the magazine through Majesty. It's the biggest online digital newsstand in the world. So with more than 20 million readers. So we use that channel to market our distance, because they have the audience already. So that's what we do. Of course, they have special offer. For example, if you subscribe to Katakata and the other magazines, you get a special price. And for my book, it's also now on Amazon.
Which book is that?
It's called Things of.
Things of what?
It's called Things of Patriarchal and Colonialism in White Sagagosi. It's a novel. It has nothing to do with the business, but it has more to do with the social problems we're facing migrants, for example. How the Western patriarchal and colonial ideology, how it affects everything they do in Africa. Not only in Africa, in the third world. So it's like everything is based on the ideology. It's affecting how things operate
in Africa
right now.
Wow, it will be a very powerful book to read.
Thank you.
It's really an eyes. It's gonna open our eyes, just like the Forgone Conclusion. That one is another eye opener. All right, gentlemen, are there some certain things you think you may tell our audience who have listened to us regarding this broadcast? Because we did not touch the area of financial challenges, but I believe, having dived into the other areas, we've covered a lot. So before we sign up, look into the camera and say something to the audience.
Well, I would say in whatever goal you wish to achieve, you know, never, never ever give up easily. The society in which we live in is a society that would try to trample you, try to restrict you, you know, looks at you like a no good, you know, because of your background. Nothing, they believe nothing good comes out of Southeast, but that is not true. Illegality never started from Southeast. Criminality never started from Southeast. Anything, yeah, black or negative never started from Southeast. You can be what you want to be, not only in Southeast, in the whole of Holland, if you are focused and you don't give up, you know. So,
thank you so much. Kiaga?
Well, my message is simple and short.
Yes.
Never allow any person to define your identity. You are the author and the manager of your identity. Yes. How you present yourself is what you are.
Yes.
Never allow any person to define your character or your life for you.
Yes.
Life is full of ups and downs. When you get down, get up. Learn from that mistake or obstacles or problems, and then try to make things better for yourself. Yes. Don't give up, because if you give up, that is the end.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much. For me, I believe that we can make it in Southeast.
yes.
As long as you have the passion for what you want to do, don't allow anything to run you down. Just be positive and know that you can make it in that environment. God being on your side and you apply diligence, I believe you will make it. So thank you for being our guest today, panelists.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you very much
for being with us. And we hope that the part 2 of this will be done in the next maybe 2 or 3 weeks. We can have you again and again and again.
Oh, that would be
Those
great.
of you who have viewed us, remember you can always go and Google Katakata magazine and read a little bit online, or also the Foregone Conclusion. The authors are here. Read about these books, and the third one is Tales of Patriarchal. Oh God, you know this your book is too. I mean, it's Tales of Patriarchal and
colonialism in White Sakagosi.
White Sakagosi.
Yes.
It's highly
Are you a student of Dr. Obayiwana? Obayano also.
Our audience, thank you for listening to us, and we hope to be with you again and again. Remember, Majesty TV is the channel for you and your family. So we see you next week. Bye for now.